Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a Chakras and Cusswords podcast. My name is Katherine, and I am your podcast host. And today we're going to talk about some of the astrology for the month of July, July 24. I cannot believe it is July 24. I'm like, oh my goodness, this summer is going by quick. Oh, boo hoo. But do you know what that means? Fall, autumn. Time to get the cinnamon spice, pumpkin spice out of the pantry. Oh yeah, it's gonna move extremely quick. But let's get into it, right? So we're gonna get into the astrology of the month of July 2024, but we're also going to do a reflection of some of the dates in June that really stood out, definitely in media, and also definitely that kind of made viral moments on the internet and people were talking about. These topics are going to be kind of pop culture-y. I love to cover the pop culture, celebrities, fun stuff. We're going to concentrate on some of the fun stuff. Have some fun. I just want to remind everybody that this is all in fun. This is to be lighthearted, okay? Let's not be serious. Can we make astrology great again? Ha ha, bad joke. Okay, guys. So I'm recording on June 29th, and it is about 6:39 a.m. I will tell you, this is my third attempt to record. The other ones just felt stiff, and I don't want to feel stiff. I want to feel fun and flexible. Like you guys know, I've been going to yoga. Okay, but anyways, let's continue. So May 30th, June 1st, we had some big moments in the cosmos. We had Mercury in Taurus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus, and we also had a Jupiter in Gemini trine Pluto in Aquarius. And right around this time, it was like June 2nd, June 1st, the end of May. And we had Mr. Donald Trump, the Trumpster, ex-president, being charged and actually getting a guilty verdict in all 34 charges in his hush money trial with, I believe, Stormy Daniels. And let's just say the memes were memeing. I am so here for the internet memes. I live for the nonsense on the internet, like just the pettiness. It's just hilarious when you kind of think about it. Then also around June 3rd, we had Mercury enters Gemini. And it's kind of interesting that this is all happening right around Gemini season. We have to remember that Donald Trump is a Gemini. So this is definitely some high energy for him. I mean, Donald Trump has been high energy ever since he became president. Like, this guy is just nonstop. So the Trump campaign said on Friday it's nearly doubled from single fundraising record after the New York jury found Donald Trump guilty. And I will say I saw tons of people like with shirts that where they were saying they were going to get shirts that said, I'm voting for a felon. Like, I almost feel like it kind of gives him like this cool factor again. I've always told you guys, people who love Trump love him. And I was telling my friend and she was laughing, but people who love Trump love him crazy style. Like, they love him Michael Jackson style. Like, do you remember when like Michael Jackson would be on tour and women or fans were just like, oh my God. And they couldn't even compose themselves. They were like, it's MJ, it's Michael Jackson. And I feel like Trump reminds me of that. A lot of people have that like, oh, we love him so much. The Republican campaign said it raised $34.8 million by small donors. So this isn't big elites giving him money. These are small donors. And 30% of these donors were brand new to Trump. So WinRed senior campaign advisors said that a lot of these were new people that were like, huh, he's a felon. Sounds cool. Let's vote for him. Um, it's interesting because I think that people look at the economy back when Trump was in office and they're like, oh, they feel like he definitely had the economy better than what maybe the economy is right now with Joe Biden. Um, in all honesty, I do see that inflation is at a super high area, right? And I mean, for most people, that's where we're struggling the most is the cost of things, the cost of housing, and we're just not getting the same back in areas of payment. It's a fact. It's total fact. Also around this time on June 3rd, Mercury enters Gemini. We have Mexico elects Claudia Sheinbaum, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, as the first female president in history for the country. And she said, in 200 years of Mexican Republic, I have become the first president, and I did not arrive alone. We arrived. We all arrived, basically. This is definitely a area that had a lot of conversation with Mexico being the first to elect a female president. It's funny because I have a few friends who are from Mexico and we were talking about it, and some of them are like, man, I hope this works out for her. But some of the people of Mexico, some of like the cartel, um, have threatened her already. So there's definitely been threats for assassination on her life. And it's kind of scary to think, right? I hope that doesn't happen, but that is something that people are definitely talking about. And also, right around June 6th, we have the new moon in Gemini. And who remembers Ryan Garcia, the boxer? So Ryan Garcia has kind of had a interesting couple of past months. He's been in the media for kind of speaking out, I guess you could say, like on some conspiracies. And he's also talked about the Bohemian Grove and saying that like people, but he didn't really say what people, but he said people took him to the Bohemian Grove. And for those who don't know, the Bohemian Grove has a lot of mystery behind it. It has like this lot of eerie presence where people believe that they did these sacrifices and like a lot of, if you've seen the movie Eyes Wide Shut, a lot of speculation of that type of rituals going on. Just, it's kind of always had like this mysterious entity, its own energy, where everybody's been like the Bohemian Grove, and he's basically saying that somebody took him to the Bohemian Grove and he was acting very crazy, and then he had a fight and he actually won the fight. I don't want to get into too much of the history of him, but he's kind of been making a lot of like weird predictions and a lot of weird, I guess you could say, weird conversation pieces. And people kind of feel like he's off his rocker. But then you also have these people that are like, oh no, he's just becoming more vocal about what he's seen. We need to protect him. That's kind of like been the senses that I've been getting from people. And we need to protect him. So, anyways, Ryan Garcia predicted on like some crazy Instagram live or TikTok live that he felt there was going to be an earthquake in California and in Las Vegas on June 6th. 24, and as you know, that's 666. And he also said that he thought something bad was going to happen to him. Well, both things happened. There was an earthquake in California, but like many people say, California nearly has small earthquakes damn near every day. And he did get arrested. He actually got arrested for I believe, vandalism in a Los Angeles hotel and for acting erratic. So you also have that area of like, well, you kind of predict something and then you go out and create vandalism. So most likely you're going to get arrested. But then some of his followers are like, he's speaking the truth. We need to protect him and make sure that Ryan Garcia is okay. When I think of Ryan Garcia, there's a few things that come to my mind. I definitely think there are some truths with some of these conspiracies. I mean, all these conspiracies are a little bit of centered around a story of something, right? How the story started is very interesting. How it continues to go is also interesting. I definitely think that there is some precedence. There's definitely been so much going on with Hollywood, so much with people being exposed in Hollywood, that he's probably just talking about certain things that maybe he's been seeing, researching. I don't think that Ryan Garcia is all the way there. I feel like it could be a mixture of substances, also a mixture of maybe like some type of supplements for sports. I also think it could be a mixture of not just that, but also the traumatic brain injury. We have to remember he is a boxer. Boxers are constantly getting hit in the head. So can we be seeing some of the erraticness, some of the areas of not making sense, the confusion, and also people who have traumatic brain injuries? We have to remember that they also often seem like somebody that you would not necessarily know, like they are not their old self. We've heard of people who've had traumatic brain injuries or PTSD coming back almost like a little bit more volatile and even a little bit more centered around violence. We also had some interesting movement on June 8th. We had Mars enters Taurus. June 9th, Sun in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces, and then the talk about AI again. So Megan Thee Stallion responds to an AI generated sex tape that was circulating online of her. And she basically responds, it's really sick how y'all go out of your way to hurt me when you see me winning. Y'all going too far, fake ass shit. Just know today was your last day playing with me. And I mean it. I don't know if she thinks this is the Barbs, if it's Nikki's fans, because remember they had that beef back then. Definitely disturbing. I think when we think of people's privacies, I do feel that we shouldn't be using AI to replicate what we think somebody naked would look like. It's it's false. And I mean, if that person wanted to pose naked or wanted to do something like that, that's different, right? Then that means that's what they put out there, that's what they wanted to do. But for us to be making like fake replicas of somebody who we don't even know, it's not really appropriate. There was also a lot of stories kind of around mid-June that I thought were interesting. As we entered June 17th, we had Mercury enters Cancer, and we also had a lot of area around Jennifer Lopez. Okay, so Jennifer Lopez has definitely been getting a bad rap over a while, right? We've had talks about her marriage possibly breaking up, Ben moving out of the estate, like people saying it's not when or it's not when, or it's not if, it's when are they going to announce that they're splitting up. Me personally, I think it's interesting. We are so fascinated with the relationship of Jennifer Lopez, and Ben Affleck, I think because they had this mystical, magical love story, and it's just coming to an end, basically, right? Basically, it's coming to an end, is what most people are seeing. And I think also people are kind of talking about that, especially as we see Mercury enters Cancer area around the feminine. Jen is a Leo, and so is Ben. They both have Scorpio moons. I do not have their birth charts in front of me, but just the whole area of Mercury and Gemini squares Neptune and Pisces. It just feels like an anxious time, area of embarrassment. Also, there was a lot of speculation about were some of these vocal tracks that Jennifer Lopez was using, obviously they're not her. She used Ashanti, she used other artists to kind of fill in the areas of using her vocal tracks almost as the background and letting these other artists kind of really highlight their vocal skills. I did look at her birth chart. I'll be honest, Jennifer Lopez, when I looked at she's a triple threat, right? But when I look at her chart, I don't see anything that makes me think, oh my gosh, she's such an amazing vocalist. She's such an amazing singer. Like when I'm looking for a vocalist, I'm looking at what the Venus is doing. Where is Venus? I could see if like she had a Venus placement in her second house, maybe her 10th house. Venus is the area of strength, of the beauty, the harmony of the voice. Also the area of Gemini, like what's going on. Does she have a lot of Gemini placements? What's her Mercury doing? There are some kind of alignments that would make somebody think this person is a vocalist. Like when I looked at, oh gosh, whose chart was I looking at? And I was like, this person is a vocalist. And I even pointed out, see, we didn't have this alignment with Jennifer Lopez. I don't know. It's on the YouTube channel. I did a small video about it, but she just does not have that precedence about her of being a strong vocalist. Is she a strong business artist? Business person, entertainer? Yes. Is she able to dance her freaking booty off? Yes. Is she able to be a semi good actress? I think she is. I wouldn't take that away from her. But singing, not really her strong point. Also, there's just been a lot of talk of, you know, Puffy in and out of the spotlight during this time. Recently, I believe he took down all his Instagram posts, but a lot of people are waiting to see when what's going to happen next with Sean Combs. And a lot of fans have been definitely waiting for something to happen. I do think something's going to happen. I know I gave dates with the deep dive of Sean Combs' birth chart at the end when I did the birth chart reading of times that I think something might possibly happen to him. But he had some new allegations. So there's this singer, Nikki Heaton, accuses Diddy and Ye of assaulting her, and she actually had an Instagram live. Many people watched the Instagram, watched the TikTok. I'm sure if you look her up, you could find it. But on June, right around the middle of the month and the beginning of the month, June 8th, she went on this Instagram session where she talked about being part of them attempting to hurt her and I believe her friend. So she says on June 8th, Nikki Heaton conducted an Instagram live and it's basically been circulating online. Most people really heard about it right around this time of June 15th. She started by saying that she had no intentions on having a relationship with either one of them, and Yi reached out for her to come to the studio. She thought she was coming to the studio as an artist, And basically, she claims that when she arrived at the studio, that Diddy and Yee were there together. The singer said they appeared off their shit on alcohol and seemed very just out of it, that most likely they were doing drugs. And she claimed that they pressured her to have a drink, but she didn't take it. And then they made her feel like, why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you drinking? And then also, she said that while she was there, 9 other women were also present in the studio. They allegedly ended up leaving. She doesn't know where the 9 women went, but she said that it just got very uncomfortable very quick. And she even said that Ian Puff then alleged began pressing her to take off her clothes because of how hot it was in the studio. They were like, come on, it's just us. We're all just friends. Let's see how you look. She recalled that, it was definitely a very scary time because she actually ran and hid to get away from them. And you have to remember, these people, like I was explaining this to my friend, these celebs, they aren't like in little houses, right? These people are in huge $1 million houses that have like 20 something bedrooms, 50 something bedrooms. Like, if you have somebody who's drunk, because my friend was like, how did she just run and hide? It's like, well, she ran and hide in a room that nobody was using, like an old studio. So obviously in these huge rooms, you can run and hide, these huge houses, you could hide until you're able to escape. And luckily for her, she was able to, but of course, her friend is suing because her friend, I believe, was actually assaulted. No bueno. So definitely more allegations are coming up with Puffy. Then right around this time of June 18th, we have the Mercury in Cancer conjuncts Venus in Cancer. We also have Vesta enters Leo. We have Sun in Gemini squares Neptune and Pisces, and the beginning of transitioning over to Cancer season. And then we have Justin Timberlake arrested for a DWI in Hamptons. Like I said, not a good time for Justin Timberlake. Not a good time for the fixed signs to be not coming in an area of truth with your karma. And I think it's kind of playing out. I did share a video where he was like talking about Britney. He was basically sending these subliminal like messages about Britney, like, clean your act up. This was like back in the early 2000s when Britney was going through it. So it's like, really, dude, talk about karma. Then on June 19th, which is also known as Juneteenth, we have Kendrick Lamar performs in Compton, and he brings all like his friends out. He also brings out a lot of ex-gang members, or maybe even still gang members. He brings out the Bloods, the Crips, and they all get on stage together and they have a great time. Everybody loves the concert, and he plays that song Not Like Us literally like 5 to 6 times. Everybody was singing, and everybody continues to make fun of Drake. So a lot of people were very impressed with Kendrick Lamar's concert. It was called Pop Out Ken and Friends, and it was hosted, I believe, by Amazon Music. So good times. Looks like he really is providing some good lyricism, some good music, and the fact that he did it on June 19th, on Juneteenth, lets me know that he is definitely here for his culture. He's definitely here for the African Americans, Black America, and he's definitely going to celebrate his culture. And I think the fact that Drake is, oh gosh, I think the fact that Drake, and I hate to say this, but I think the fact that Drake is biracial does have something to do with it, and the fact that Drake is just a creeper, and that Drake continues to I guess you could say almost sell out and not stay true to his roots. Like some of the things that even Drake said in the disses, like you act like you're gonna like free the slaves. Like what? Drake. God. I don't know about that guy. And that's why I think he doesn't write a lot of his own raps where Kendrick Lamar does. To be that blind for your own heritage and your own culture and your own identity, that's might be why his raps are so bad, because he's not writing them. I don't know. Or maybe he just is really like that. So it definitely proved that Drake is not like us. He's not like Kendrick and his friends. And Kendrick and his friends seem like they had a good old funky time at the Pop Out concert. But enough of that. It was the entryway of Cancer season. It was also the last day of Gemini season, and Kendrick Lamar is a Gemini. Then we had the full moon in Capricorn, and just recently, like yesterday, or not yesterday, but just recently on the 27th, we had the 26th, we had Mercury in Cancer sextile Saturn in Pisces, and we also had on the 29th, Saturn goes retrograde in Pisces, and there was so much talk about the presidential debates. So much talk about the presidential debates. I will be honest, I am here for the memes. I am here for the funny. I'm definitely here for the funnies. I feel like I've been saying for a very long time, if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me more on TikTok, you know that I don't know if Biden's going to make it. I've even talked about it here on this podcast. I don't know if Biden's going to be the next president. I think he's too old. I don't think he's there. I think the country is, for whatever reason, over him. A lot of it has to do with the war. Ukraine, a lot of it has to do with Russia, Ukraine. A lot of it also has to do with the attacks in Gaza, the attacks following the hostages that were taken by why am I going blank by the terrorist group, right? So a lot of it has to do with people don't want to get involved. People don't want to be responsible for genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. And they feel like that's what Israel is doing. And it's interesting because Israel has been somebody who has been the success, who has been the oppressor to the oppressed people of Palestine for many years. And for us to say that's not true is false, right? And as an American, I guess, we want Gaza to receive aid, but we don't want Israel to be using our money to completely wipe out a group of people who are losing what little land they had. And a lot of us have felt this from the very beginning. But, Israel is considered one of our biggest allies. So for whatever reason, people are just not connected to Uncle Joe, Sleepy Time Joe, Old Man Joe. And the presidential debate he just had, I have some brain farts too, but it just was a hot ass mess. It was just like it looked horrible to watch. I felt uncomfortable watching it. I definitely think Trump played on it, because Trump's like, I don't even think he knows what he's talking about. I don't even think he knows what you asked him. And it just showed that Trump intellectually is with it a little bit more than Biden. There was a 2-minute debate over who's the better golfer. I mean, it was just a shit show. And I feel like some of the answers Trump didn't answer, not because he didn't know how to answer them politically correct, also because he maybe just didn't want to answer them because he didn't know exactly how to answer them. So he was like avoiding the answer, where Biden, honey, I think he just forgot the question or he couldn't comprehend how to answer it. So it was a fucking mess. I personally think, I know some of you have seen, I've read Gavin Newsom's chart. I definitely think that the Dems are scrambling. The Dems are definitely like, oh shit, oh shit, there might be a plot twist. I've read Gavin Newsom's birth chart. I believe 2028, there's a strong possibility he could be running or in the White House by then, but definitely thinking about a presidential campaign. Gavin Newsom has a lot of leadership energy where I feel like he will take on Trump. And the Democratic women will go absolutely bananas if it is Gavin Newsom's, even though people in California are not a huge fan of Newsom's just because of our housing population crisis, a lot of with our water, the droughts, us shipping water to other states. A lot of people in California, there's definitely mixed reviews about Newsom's, a lot of mixed reviews, but I've been saying since like 2022, 2021 that I think Gavin Newsom's has a strong potential of being a president and also being a president in the year of 2028. Who knows? The Dems might do a plot twist and say, "Look, honey, look, young man, we have some hope in you. We have some ideas for you. Come follow, come listen to your Auntie Nancy, and come listen to us." So July 2nd, Neptune goes retrograde in Pisces. Ooh, I feel with Neptune and Saturn in retrograde with Pisces, there's going to be some expectations. There's definitely going to be some moments that we're going to have to face some reality. We're also going to have to let the area of red flags really kind of show forward. We're definitely seeing some red flags. The Democrats are definitely seeing some red flags. So, this is definitely a time of discussion. This is also a time of consciousness. Neptune might kind of be like, hey, I'm taking me a little nap. And Saturn's going retrograde too. We might have to, in the area of Pisces, of the higher conscious, we might have to wake up and do what we got to do to win. Time for our old man Joe to pass the baton. Also on July 2nd, we have Mercury enters Leo. Our area is going to feel very bold. I wouldn't be surprised. This is definitely a high energy day. I wouldn't be surprised if some big news stories hit on July 2nd. I'm definitely going to be paying attention. We also have Venus in Cancer, trine Saturn in Pisces. So those areas of relationship are really going to be talked about. Is Ben and Jen going to finally announce that they're separating? Who knows? Who knows? Do we care? I'm just trying to keep track for this podcast because, honey, we need something to talk about. July 3rd, Mercury in Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius. That would be a good day for them to announce their separation, considering they are both Leos. We also have Mars in Taurus, sextile Saturn in Pisces right around July 5th. So there is some stubborn energy. There's also some power struggles. There's also some big influence that wants you to get some of your ideas out at the same time. So we have to remember that Saturn is in retrograde during this transit. So we also have July 5th, new moon in Cancer. Ooh, I love this new moon. I love new moons in Cancer. They feel so beautiful. They very, very much feel creative. They feel like magical and mystical. The Cancer is just a mystical zodiac. Like, That's this area of foundation that feels very nostalgic, very like romantic. It feels beautiful. Definitely make some new moon intentions. Definitely make some area of vibrations. We also have July 28th, I would say, is a pretty high energy day because we have Venus in Cancer sextiles Uranus and Taurus. And we also have Mercury in Leo sextiles Jupiter and Gemini. So there's an area of movement that you're going to want to be a little bit spontaneous. You're also going to want to feel lucky. You're going to want to feel bold. You're going to want to bring that area of communication, especially around material items, around technology, as we have Uranus in Taurus and also Venus in Cancer and Mercury in Leo. So beautiful time to create some area on July 8th. We have Palace goes direct in Scorpio. And we're also going to be moving forward and see areas of movement. And you know what's interesting is Puffy, Sean Combs is a high, he has a lot of Scorpio in his chart. He has a lot of Pluto, and he has a lot of area where I would wonder if some smoke comes his way or some high stories come his way. I could definitely see this happen with him. So it'll be interesting. Another day to put on the calendar to watch for. We also have July 11th, Venus in Cancer trines Neptune in Pisces. July 11th, Venus enters Leo, and it's going to be the start of Leo season. So we should, unfortunately, the time's going to be heating up. Leo season is a fire sign, so hopefully we don't have too many fires in California. We also have that energy of Venus in Leo, so everything's going to feel a little bit more dramatic, vibrant, also maybe a little bit more romantic, but it's definitely going to feel bold. So if you've been having some areas of temperament in the relationship, you definitely want to check that out. Also, we have July 15th, Mars in Taurus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus. This is a time that you're definitely going to want to bring new things into the life. You're also going to want to stop like procrastinating. If you've been procrastinating on whatever it is, you're going to want to look at it, say, I don't know. I don't know, right? I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I could do this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, bitch. I'm saying that with all love. Get your ass up. You could do this shit. Get up. Get up. You could do this. Okay, July 20th, we have Mars in Gemini. Wow. Okay, you know what's interesting is I remember when Mars was in Gemini, I feel like Trump had a really hard time the last time Mars was in Gemini. It was a difficult situation for him and Yeezy. So I'm going to be looking at these two again, seeing what they do, what goes on with them. So this is definitely a time that, we might be kind of very like analytical. Also, we might be centered around solving problems. So I feel like with Trump, he's either going to do good with this transit or he's gonna do not so good. So we'll have to see about that, honey. We will have to see about that. Maybe Joe still got a chance. Then on July 21st, we have full moon in Capricorn. And this is our second full moon. So this is considered like almost like a big thing. So this is the second time this year that this moon is in the sign of Capricorn, in the sea goat. This is all about the area of success. This is all about the area of achievements. If you feel like you slept on that full moon, it's time to get back up and get centered around the full moon in Capricorn one more time. I think it's always interesting because I have seen people who have had a full moon in Capricorn, like for instance, like let's say it doesn't match the sun element exactly. So we have Leo, right? So we're getting centered around the area of transitioning over to Leo season. And then we have a full moon in Capricorn. It's like, what? What? It just feels magical, right? That it's not the area of direction where you would think it would be like a full moon in Cancer, but it's Capricorn. Hey, let's take it. Let's totally take it. Let's love it. Let's or a full moon in like I don't know. It just feels magical. It feels mystical, but it just feels like weird when there's two full moons of like one same zodiac. But I like it. I like it. It feels like okay, you could start over. You could do it again. You could get centered around what's next. And then the sun enters Leo, so it's like two full moons. I guess what I was trying to say is two full moons in the same sun sign, right? So it's like, wow, okay, it's not really Leo season yet. So does Leo season get a full moon? I would hope so. They get the full moon in Aquarius, right? When's that coming? Probably in August. Don't worry, friends. Probably in August, okay? All my Aquarius placements, don't worry, guys. It's still coming. But it does feel interesting. It feels neat, right? Also, we have on July 21st, the sun in Cancer's trines Neptune and Pisces. And July 21st is definitely a high energy day. We have Mercury in Leo squares Uranus in Taurus. Venus in Leo sextiles Jupiter in Gemini, the full moon in Capricorn, and Mars in Gemini's trines Pluto in Aquarius. Damn, that's a day you're going to want to add it to your calendar. Then we also have some energy really shooting towards us on July 22nd. Sun enters Leo. Definitely a good time. July 25th, Mercury enters Virgo. And then July 26th, Chiron goes retrograde in Aries. So let's keep track of what's going to happen in July. I'll definitely be recording an astrology update for you guys on the astrology dates for August. I will tell you that life has been busy the summer months. I'm going to hope that I'm going to hope to stay consistent with my recordings in August, but there's a high possibility there might not be any video with any of my recordings in August because I am doing a lot of traveling in the month of August. Also, I want to remind you guys that my summer solstice vlog is out on Chakras and Cusswords podcast channel, YouTube channel. So the only place you can watch it is on Chakras and Cusswords. I went down to Santa Barbara for summer solstice. Also, follow me on YouTube. Give this podcast a follow, subscribe, and please give it a rating. I definitely think August I might take a little bit of a break because I'm traveling so much. So I'm hoping that it's probably just going to be meditations. But if I skip a couple weeks, don't fear, honey. I will come back. But I'm just taking a break, guys. All right. So thank you. Thank you. I just want to tell you guys thank you for the support. You guys are so amazing. Please check me out on Instagram and TikTok. TikTok's definitely the one where I'm just like rambling. And YouTube. I try to share most of the astrology on YouTube. TikTok, I do share astrology and also just like whatever I'm feeling or whatever I want to talk about. But everybody have a great day. Bye.